Hello and welcome everybody. Today we're going to go over a quick temperature and humidity data logging that I created using the Arduino Uno. We used a DHT11 temperature and humidity sensor over here. We used a nice little data logging breakout board here. Got it from Deek Robot. The ID number on it is 8122. I wasn't able to find a whole lot off of it, but if you just use the code for a generic data logging board using the MISO and MOSI type pins for its communications, you'll be able to use it. It'll work. I also used a 20 by 4 display. You can get away with a 16 by 2. You just won't be able to display the temperature in Fahrenheit here. That's what I was going to originally use and not have the Fahrenheit there, but I couldn't get one that was working available. I had one that was together, but it wasn't working, and then another one that was not together. So I'm assuming I just didn't use that one yet. As you can see, it'll take a sample every minute, so it'll take quite some time for this to update. But shows the basic humidity and temperature of my room right now. I'll stick my thumb over the humidity sensor. I'll also write the data to the SD card. You'll see later the code, the schematic, and then you'll also see some data that was pulled off the SD card. Now this data won't be on that SD card. It'll be the data that I was gathering while I was showing the code running, because you could actually read the data off the serial port. We'll give it a minute here because it only takes a data point every minute, but you should get a nice jump in the temperature here. But basically this is just going to sit down in my basement, record some data points. I'll plug it in overnight, leave it on for a while, check it during the day, just see what it looks like, see what kind of points we get. Try it during a rain day, try it during some dry days, see what happens. Hopefully we get an update on this soon. Let's breathe on a little bit. That should get us some nice change in temperature and humidity. Come on. We'll see how long it takes. It should only be a minute. There's also a pot back here to adjust contrast. As you can see, it's turned all the way up. It's a 10K pot. Alright, I'm back. As you can tell, the temperature did change and the humidity did change from what I was doing to it. That data points written to the SD card now. We'll take you off to the schematic drawing now. Okay, this is a quick wiring diagram. We have our temperature humidity sensor up here, our display here, and the data logger here. We have a potentiometer here to adjust contrast, and we'll need a resistor. I didn't put a resistor in for the LED. Just about anything like a 1K resistor will work. I just didn't put it in there. I do have it in on the actual setup that I have, but that's basically the wiring diagram. Next we'll go to the code and review the code quick. Okay, now here's the code for our temperature and humidity data logging board. Here's the pins set up for the SD card. We want to include some of these files, for the temperature and humidity sensor, the display, and then for the SD card. We define the pin for the humidity display, and then we also create an object here. We don't have to create an object, we just define the type as DHT11, and here's where we create the object, initialize the object for it's a lowercase DHT, tells it that that's the pin number and that's the type. Then our pin out for our LCD, then we create our LCD object. We also set the chip select pin there. Here's for creating the temperature from C to F. Then we do our setup. This initial function, like it's called. We initialize serial port so we can display everything. As you can see, it's already running over here. I had recorded this, but I forgot to turn on the mic, so I had to re-record it. So you can see some of the stuff over there. You can see the start of it where it says initialize SD card and whatnot. Might help if I bring it up here so I can see it. Yeah, that's better. So you can see where it initialized the SD card and then it starts recording all this. Now this does get written to a file, And let's see if I can change the temperature just so you can see that it's not doing the same thing. Oh, you did see the humidity changed from 41 to 42. Temperature should start changing. I'm holding the sensor right now. But let's continue going through here. Initializes the LCD, and the temperature humidity sensor initializes that. Next thing we do is check to see if there's a memory card. Let's see if I can scroll down here while holding on to that humidity sensor. Next thing we do is we create a float and a temp, two float variables. One is for the humidity and one for the temp. And then we get the humidity and the temperature from the sensor and we store them into those variables, and then we display them through the serial port, which is what you're watching right now. We also display them to the LCD screen. Oh, I bumped the button again. So I can actually watch them live right now. I'm not sure why that's not changing really. I hope that sensor didn't burn out. Anyway, I have another sensor if it did. So this here is going to be displaying on the LCD screen, which you've already seen at this point. And then we go and we write all the data to the file. I have it just set as H for the humidity, T for the temperature. It writes all this into that file, and I'll show you that in a couple seconds on how that's going to look. Alright, so we'll be going to the file. Okay, as you can see here, here's some data that was collected. Sorry. This was the data that was collected during the time where I was showing the code. As you can see, the humidity and temperature numbers did change throughout the time. This is around the time where I was holding on to the temperature and humidity probe, and I also breathed on it a little bit. So that's why we jumped from 43 up to 57 quick. And then remember, these numbers are every minute, so there could be some spikes or changes, drastic changes in between the number sets. I just want to get basically an average over time. When I have it down in my basement, it shouldn't change drastically very fast. I just want to get some data points just so I can get an average feel of what the basement stays at. So that's basically what this project's about, to get a basic understanding of the environment down in my basement so I know exactly what kind of precautions I got to take for my filament being down there, because eventually I want to put all the 3D printing stuff down there and just have that as my printing area. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. If you want to get notified for future videos, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.